All right, people are joining us right now. We're gonna go live here on YouTube. I hope everybody's doing great today. We'll get started in just one moment as people are joining into the room. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, right? Yeah.
Right.
Just one moment as we go. All right, we're gonna kick things off. We have this month's elevator pitch. It is the month of January 2025. We have three awesome presenters today. We've got EasyDMARC, Mr. Mike Anderson. We've got Kaseya 365, Brian Doty, as well as Jason Farnham with ThreatLocker. And we will kick things off right now. So, with that being said, I hope everybody's doing good. We're going to be talking today about each of our products. We got three presenters. Elevator pitch. The beauty of elevator pitch is we're here to allow each of these organizations to give us their elevator pitch, so we can learn more about their products and services, allowing us to see how this will assist MSPs to be more efficient, more productive, more profitable, more secure, and improve the overall customer workflow. And I'm going to go over just a few housekeeping things here. Basically, as we kick things off, we're going to go in alphabetical order. We'll go with EasyDMARC, Kaseya, and then ThreatLocker. And then we will then open up into our demo rooms. I do want to mention that during everybody's presentations, they won't be taking questions during their 10-minute presentation. We will save that at the end for our demo room. So any kind of hands-on Q&A will be done in those demo rooms. And when we get to that point, I'll walk you through how you get into the demo rooms. You might want to start out with ThreatLocker, jump over to EasyDMARC, and then Kaseya, whatever order that you prefer. And you'll be able to ask questions during that time. One of the big things I want to mention is we have $250 of cash burning a hole in our pockets that we want to give away to one of our lucky attendees. And so, most important thing is this money is given away all the way at the end. So, it's a hook. We're keeping you on until the end for the full hour. We know the drill, right? You guys know the drill. But $250 cash will be just given away to one of our lucky attendees. And with that being said, let's kick things off with Mr. Mike Anderson with EasyDMARC. And let me go ahead and bring him in here at a spotlight. There he is, side by side with Mr. Anderson. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing good. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's do it. Yes.
Am I
So,
able to share my screen? Am I going to be able to share my screen?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
we will definitely. Talon will go ahead and give you co-host. Before we kick things off, though, we always got to put each of our speakers on a spot and learn about something about Mike that we don't know about. What's that unique thing about Mike?
Well, I grew up on a horse farm when I was young, so I can saddle a horse and ride a horse and know how to take care of horses. So not doing it currently, but if I ever get stuck out in the wilderness and there's a horse around, I know how to giddy up.
That's awesome. We have. I have personally may have been on a horse maybe once or twice. And I'm not talking about the penny horse at the local grocery store, our local Meyer store, but yeah, that's a fun thing. But I cannot saddle a horse or do any of that fun stuff that you're talking about. So you definitely have a leg up when it comes to that.
Yeah, the grid goes down permanently. I may have a useful skill.
There you go. There you go. You do have co-host capabilities, and so you should be able to go ahead and share your screen right now. And we will start a timer, and you have a total of 10 minutes. So we'll start that timer right now. You
All
are able
right.
to take the stage.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining. So the rise of the data-driven lead analysis partner, that's going to be EasyDMARC. And so they've determined that there's two types of business people. There was a study done, and everybody falls into about one of two categories, the vast majority. Those that believe they can make things happen, and those who wait for things to happen. Now we want to talk about that first group because that goes along with the program that we run here at EasyDMARC, right? The first group that believes they can make things happen. Those are the salespeople, the CEOs, the marketing people, right? They go after it. The people that wait around typically are accountants and engineers, and you know those two roles kind of go together naturally. It's the type A, type B personality syndrome. But you know, talking about the people that believe they can make things happen, they found that they have some advantages, especially as it relates to business and specifically with MSP businesses. They found out that they sell more than others, and if there's anybody on here that doesn't want to sell more than others, please, you're on the wrong call, right? Let's start there. You're going to be able to sell more than others. You have better customer service. Who can't use better customer service? They respond to adversity better. They think it's a teacher, not a setback. And on average, they make between 50 and 150% more than the other type of person, right? Now, running an MSP takes a little bit of both. It takes that A, B personality. You got to be able to make things happen, and sometimes you have to wait for things to happen and solve tickets, right? So how do you use EasyDMARC to kind of do both, right? The rise of the lead-driven partner. And so we have been inundated lately with our lead analysis program. In our platform, we have a domain scanner tool that will show you where the business is all around you. You will simply put in a domain, scan it, and you will get a risk assessment profile that looks something like this. It will show you what the risk level is of that domain. Now, when you get a risk assessment back that looks like this, you should be thinking to yourself, this is a prime prospect, a prime suspect, right? This is not the same old song and dance. Hey, I'm calling you up. We're an MSP. Who cares? I get 20 calls a week from people like you. You're going to be able to show them a risk assessment that says, hey, you're at risk for potential fraud and not having your emails delivered. The prospect's going to go, well, you've got my attention now. So let's see how it works. We're going to let you export this report. We're going to let you customize it. You'll be able to put in a document title, a coverage summary, couple of paragraphs. Hey, you're at risk. We should do a discovery, et cetera, and then drag and drop your logo in here, and it will stamp your logo on a 7-page risk assessment that looks something like this. And I just reviewed this with a prospect. So it will give you the custom page. It will tell them your summary statement. Hey, we should do an engagement. You're at severe risk for fraud and deliverability. It will show them what you found. It will tell them what you found, and it will describe what it means. That, again, you're at risk for fraud and deliverability. This goes right back to, hey, we're not just doing cold marketing. This is a shiny new security tool you should have. This is, hey, you're at risk. We're specialists. We can fix it. We should have a conversation. Which do you think is going to open more doors? Hey, I'm an MSP and I can help you with your IT. Or, hey, your shoe's untied. You're about to fall. You know, probably should tie it. Those kind of tactics have shown that if you deliver information, valuable information to a prospect, they're 60 to 80% more likely to engage you for a conversation. So engaging somebody with a risk assessment that looks like this will definitely deliver results. The assessment will go on to explain what DMARC is in very simple details. It will show them visually based on the report where they are at and where they need to get to. It will describe the next steps in your assessment process. And these are common next steps in any DMARC assessment process. Hey, we should do a deep dive, review your compliance and regulatory requirements, and then do an engagement. And then it will deliver what the expected outcomes are. And that's going to be higher security, higher deliverability, and higher visibility into the entire process. So what typically happens is the prospect's going to go, okay, Mike, you got me. This doesn't look good. What do we do? Then you'll engage them in a deep dive engagement where you put their domain in our platform. You will look at some assessment reports. This will give you gap analysis. You will focus on the non-compliant piece of the puzzle. You'll be able to review every single sending source with the customer. And this is where the dollars meet the paper right here. This is where you get the money. So you'll be able to talk through with the customer. Hey, what are you using SendGrid for? They're going to go, hey, that's our invoicing system. You're going to go invoicing. You're going to look at that deliverability percentage. at zero, the 100% of them aren't being delivered, you are going to know what kind of problems they're having, right? Your invoices aren't getting delivered. You're getting short paid and slow paid and no paid, right? Things that can cripple a business. This will allow you to put real business pain and real financial pain to this conversation, right? You can go down these sources one at a time. MailChimp, what are you using MailChimp for? They're going to say, that's our email marketing. You already know how that's going, right? Oh, are you getting any leads? They're going to say, nope, we're not getting any leads. We're about to fire Susie from marketing. Well, before you fire Susie from marketing, we should probably have a conversation. We think we can fix this. So if you want to attach a monetization strategy to all this, sell services, sell monthly revenue, I'll teach you how to do that in the breakout session. But this is how the platform works. It's very effective. We've gone from 80 MSPs when I first started 2 years ago to over 2,400 in less than 2 years. That shows you the massive growth that this industry is having. So what will it do for you? It's going to do all of these things, but it statistically will increase your sales. This risk assessment will close at about a 10% rate. So if you do the math, there's 260 selling days in 1 year. You just do one a day, right? That's about 20 to 26 new logos you can add in a given year, right? Think to yourself, what will that do to your bottom line? Besides all these other benefits over here, this is not a door opener. This is a door kicker. Use it to get started. Here's how you get a hold of us. If you want to scan your QVC code, scan it. It's not a Trojan horse. We know about those things nowadays. But for more information on our program, feel free to reach out to me, mike@easydmarc.com. Scan the QR code here for any further information. I'm wrapping up just a little bit early. If anybody has any questions, I'll meet you in the breakout session.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mike. And as we know, undeliverable emails is money being thrown out the door, right? And it's something that we don't want to see happening for our clients, but also certainly, we don't want to see happening for any of our prospective clients. Risk assessments work. We know that. We're not selling FUD here. I mean, the reality is, you're talking about the money that they might be putting into MailChimp or SendGrid, MailerLite, whatever the case may be. And if it's not working, we can show them why. But I love what you say about one per day. And, you go after that one per day, and that's just, the average Joe. Then you got the renegades, like all of our MSPs that are on this call. They're going to be like, I'm going to do 10 per day. I'm going to do 20 per day, whatever the case may be. That just means more opportunities to close. So,
yeah, if you have a business development person and they're sitting around doing nothing, that's a mistake. They should be using this tool nonstop to just be scanning domains in your service area to find those red flags, open up a conversation. It just takes something as simple as, putting that risk assessment in an email, sending, a couple of sentences. Hey, you're at risk for fraud domain and not having your email delivered. We can fix it. We should have a conversation, and then just throw it over the fence. Again, if you'll do that over and over, about a 10% close rate. It's very high in the industry, and it's a proven lead generator.
And it's not a door opener; it's a door kicker. I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Love it. All right, thank you, Mike. We will move on to our next. We have Mr. Brian. Or Brian go? There's Brian. Let's
There I
bring
am.
Brian. Yeah, let's add Brian to the spotlight here. Brian Doty. I always say
Cody.
it, Doty, right?
You had it right the first time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so we got Mr. Brian Doty with Kaseya, and we're going to talk about K365. So first off, how you doing today, Brian?
I'm great. It's wonderful
Awesome.
here in southwestern PA.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. So let's ask something about Brian that most people don't know. You got to tell us one thing about you.
Okay. Well, so some people know I have 4 kids at home. Well,
Yeah,
here, I happen to be home this week,
right.
but not everyone knows that my kids' initials spell crew, like in order.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and we didn't actually planned that and realized it like a couple months after we had William, our fourth, and my wife told me. So it
So
was an
wait, so wait, wait,
accident.
wait. So as you were like, shouting out the kids' names and maybe getting them wrong, did you come up with like crew? Hey, here's the, homes, when you think about
Yeah,
the Great
the
Lakes,
Great Lakes. Yeah.
HOMES, right?
Yep.
So hey, that's, I think that's a valid reason,
Yeah,
maybe.
they're the crew.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's
It's a
great.
crew. So let's go ahead. You do have co-host capabilities, so you can share your screen, and we're going to go ahead and kick your time off right now. And
Okay.
your 10 minutes begins right now, my friend.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate the wonderful introduction. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Today, I'm going to talk about Kaseya 365 user and how we're helping empower MSPs to be the superhero to their client's business. And, I really just wanted to touch on that for a second, the superhero to your client's businesses. I worked for an MSP like 5, 6 years ago, and I never really looked at our company, our organization as a superhero to our clients until we started really thinking about it here at Kaseya. MSPs are really an engine to the global economy. When you think about how powerful the small business community is to the global economy and to employment and GDP, all those contributing factors, they need MSPs now more than ever to propel their businesses into the future and protect them from modern threats. And that's really behind all of our thinking at Kaseya. And what I'm going to talk about here today, and I wanted to give a little bit of background. This journey isn't something new for us. This isn't something we just woke up one morning and said, hey, we're going to launch a thing called Kaseya 365. No, IT Complete, which is sort of the predecessor to Kaseya 365, started all the way back in 2015. So 10 years ago, this baby was born. And the idea along the way, we've made a lot of acquisitions to make this platform more complete. And we called it IT Complete throughout that period of time. And now you're seeing the subscriptions where we are pulling together the best of solutions that we need. So you will see on here, of course, 2 editions that we have for Kaseya 365 currently launched. You may see some more things in the future. I'm not going to speculate too much there. But many of you already saw Kaseya 365 Endpoint, which was launched last spring. And what an amazing success it was for us. Now, this is everything needed to manage, secure, and back up that endpoint. We focus in on, RMM and protecting that endpoint with SOC and, next generation antivirus, things like that. It's really focused on the technology and that endpoint that exists out there. And those endpoints have changed. They've evolved. They've moved away from the protection that's been provided under, your firewall and the network gear you've installed and all the things that MSPs have done to protect their clients in their offices. Well, when we started shipping people off to work from home and in hybrid environments, a lot of that stuff has gone away. So now where we are, we need to look at these endpoints no matter where they live. But also the most important threat and the biggest threat that we're seeing is user threats. So we need to protect the user. So the 2 editions that you see here are endpoint and user. And today I want to focus in on the user subscription for Kaseya 365. And it includes all the things that you see here: anti-phishing, user awareness training, user susceptibility testing, also known as security awareness training, and phishing simulations, dark web monitoring, of course, uh, SaaS application management. Now, this is something a little bit new, right? Because we added, based on the acquisition of SaaS Alerts, we added in the capability to protect those SaaS applications that your clients are logging into from anywhere they work, which is everywhere nowadays. So thinking about that, I'm thinking about protecting those tenants that exist out there. I know everybody goes and reads their Microsoft EULA or CYA, as I like to call it, right? Everybody reads all of those, right, before they start using the software. Well, no. But the thing is that they tell you right in there that it's your responsibility to protect the tenant, whether it comes to protecting it from phishing attacks or password exposure, things like that, or even we're seeing man in the middle or token theft, things like that that are happening more rampant these days. But also, even in those EULAs, they're saying, hey, you should have a copy of this stuff and be protecting it on your own, because we're not going to guarantee that we're backing it up for you either. And so we've included that as well in the subscription for Kaseya 365 user. Now, when you think about it, you think about all that your clients are doing online these days to do their business, to run and operate their businesses and their organizations. A lot of risk is out there. A lot of risk is exposed. And when we think about the reason that this risk is exposed is because of these users, right? You could put up all these protections in the world, and at the end of the day, it only takes one idiot, maybe even me, to click the wrong button, and poof, there goes everything, right? And that's when the event happens. And that's why it's important that we are able to demonstrate that users have taken security awareness training, that they've gone through it, that they've been tested, right? That we're testing for effectiveness. And when you look at these programs, these solutions together, I don't know if you all are regularly doing phishing simulations, but it's a pain in the ass. There's a lot of whitelisting that you have to do, and find out that they're not even getting delivered. It's really a pain. And what ends up happening is MSPs will either often forego this and just not do it because it's a pain in the ass, or what they'll do is they'll lower their security standards on their traditional email gateway, and ultimately leaving their clients vulnerable. So it's another thing that, people don't always realize, the automations and things that we put into place here. And we're doing all of this for a very affordable price at $3.75 per user. That's pretty amazing stuff, right? So when we talk about Kaseya 365 and how we're delivering the profit margins that you deserve as an MSP, we're able to save you on average about $4 per user. I know it says endpoint there. I probably stole the slide from the wrong deck, but it's $4 per user. When you think about it, $4 per user, that's pretty amazing when you think about it. 100 users delivering $400 a month to your bottom line. Now, I have another example later on that I'm going to go into here, but when you think about the customization that you normally have between all these disparate products that you're using from disparate vendors, and there's a lot of different customization involved in setting up each of your clients. We've made this a lot more streamlined, a lot more efficient for you to do this by standardizing and making it a more simplified solution. So streamlining it, right? Leveraging AI. All of our tools at Kaseya, and I know I touched on this just with the phishing simulations, but all of our tools have workflow automations built into them that allow things to be much more simple, single sign-on, instant access, and you're going to see workflow automations between these different tools. Now that we're leveraging this more and more, you're able to see the AI bots actually close some of those mundane tickets and some of those tasks that your technicians have to do manually and probably really don't want to be bothered doing anyway. So when you think about that, introducing those sorts of things can help your team dramatically. And then this is all backed by our partnership. In fact, it's something I'm very proud of to talk about, is our Partner First Pledge. We've been listening over the years. As I showed before, we made a ton of acquisitions in the last 10 years to make Kaseya what it is today. And we've made some mistakes along the way. I'll be the first to admit that. And one of the things that we were able to do along this process is listen to our partners give that feedback to our executive team and our board, and come up with solutions that we can make programmatic inside of Kaseya here. So things like flex spend. Initially, we beta tested this with just our backup products, but now we've moved this to be across our entire platform. Our catastrophic loss protection, if you were to lose a big client, our price lock guarantee, making things a lot more affordable when you go to renew, and of course, much more palatable 1 and 3 year terms. I see Dan's on here, so I'm probably running out of time. I didn't reset my clock. One quick example, and then I'll be done. Look, it's not just that instantaneous profit that you deliver, but think about being able to bump your pricing just a little bit because now you're providing so much more for them. Think about the profit that you can deliver and the margins that you deserve because you're a superhero to your clients. So with that, I think I'm out of time. Thank you all for that. And we'll see you at the breakout room.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. Greatly appreciate it. Kaseya pulling it IT, of course, IT, all together, right, into one for MSP enablement. So I want to thank you so much, Brian. We're going to move
Thank you,
on
Dan.
to our next speaker. So let's go ahead and bring on Mr. Jason Farnham.
Hey, Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How about you, my friend?
Fantastic. Fantastic. Glad to be here. Nice to meet you.
So, yeah. So, of course, we're going to put you in the hot seat as well, just like we did for Brian and Mike. And, we're going to ask something unique about you that none of us knows.
So I actually won the McDonald's Monopoly contest way
No
back in the
way.
day. But
Oh,
here's the
wow.
depressing part. I actually
Uh-oh.
lost the piece.
Oh, no.
It wasn't the grand prize, but it was actually for a brand new car at the time. So you just brought up that trauma, but we'll work through it.
That's awful. That is awful. I mean, but, you can always say that you won, right?
In my heart, yeah.
Kind of in your heart. All right, Jason, we're going to go ahead and you do have co-hosts, so you can share your screen. But your time is going to start right now. There we go.
Which screen am I sharing? Sorry. Can you see the
You do
blanks?
see a blank ThreatLocker screen. Yep.
Fantastic. All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Jason with the ThreatLocker MSP sales team. And I'm really excited to tell you about what ThreatLocker is, how we work, and most importantly, how we protect your endpoints with a default deny approach. So let's jump right in. First off, with some fun facts. I've been with ThreatLocker for a little bit over 3 years, and I've seen tremendous growth. In fact, I think there's about like a 10xing of headcount since I started. We're over on 2 million plus endpoints and well over 40,000 partners. So it's really exciting times that I'm actually honored to be a part of. But it also says that we might be doing something right in the world of endpoint security. So let's dive into what ThreatLocker is, or actually, I wanted to start with what ThreatLocker isn't. We're a little different than the cybersecurity tools that you might be familiar with in that we're not trying to identify every single thing that's bad that's out there, and then so we can block it. It's an impossible task. Instead, we focus on identifying what should be running in your business environment, allowing that, and then blocking everything else by default. This is default deny in a nutshell. Now, we didn't invent default deny. It's been around for decades, but we just made it easier for MSP professionals like you guys and IT professionals all around to incorporate into their security stack. Now, if you have the best detection tools out there, when you get hit by a cyber attack, it's often going to be too little too late. You need to have proactive security controls as well as reactive detection, working in a yin-yang kind of situation. And that's what we have with the ThreatLocker platform. It's a complete protection at the endpoint. So, and by the way, if default deny is so good, why isn't it used just across the board, right? Well, the short answer is it has been difficult to implement. ThreatLocker has a couple of quality of life and processes that make it accessible and viable for MSPs to incorporate. And that's something we'll talk about in the breakout session that I'd love for you guys to join, and we can talk about that further. But let's talk about what makes up the ThreatLocker suite. There are 8 modules, at least currently, that make up the ThreatLocker suite that work in conjunction to provide a complete approach to endpoint security. Now, starting off, and what we're known for is allow listing. That's the idea of allowing the tools that we need in our environment and then denying everything else by default. So we're going to deny games, coupon clipper browser extensions made in Russia, but most importantly, ransomware from running in the first place. But threat actors are getting increasingly more sophisticated. They're actually launching attacks from trusted applications. This is where ring fencing comes into play. Ring fencing is the idea that we're going to put controls on what the applications that we allow to limit it from accessing critical and dangerous system tools like PowerShell. An example might be we want Microsoft Office to run. We're going to allow PowerShell to run, but we never need Office accessing PowerShell. By ring fencing that connection, we can mitigate a 0-day vulnerability from being exploited. Elevation control. We have a privileged access management tool that allows you to give a local user admin rights for a specific application, and even for a specific time if we wanted to as well. So this is going to reduce nuisance requests that come in from your clients that are reaching out to you so that you can remote in and allow them to update or install an application that requires admin credentials. And also, it just reduces the risk of having admins under your management. Storage control is my favorite module because it helps protect your data. So this is a policy-driven approach to data storage. So let me give you a good example. You might have your backup software, and you only want it to access your backup shares. So we can make a storage control policy that defines just that. It controls which applications and who can access your data. And there's also USB blocking in it as well. Network control is our centrally managed host-based firewall. You get complete control of inbound and outbound traffic on a machine, as well as visibility. But it also has dynamic access control lists. And these update when an IP address changes. So if you have a CEO traveling around and IP address changes, you'll still be able to access the machine with that policy. ThreatLocker Detect is our EDR. It does EDR things, automatic detection and response based on known indicators of compromise, at least according to the MITRE ATT&CK framework. Now, what's special about ThreatLocker Detect is that you could, in addition to the black box of policies that we include, you can also write custom policies that are hyper relevant to your security scenario. So if you know that someone is about to quit their job in one of your client sites, we can say, if they try to access so much data, we can lock them out of the network, we can lock their machine down, or whatever we choose to based on the other ThreatLocker controls that we have. And by the way, ThreatLocker Detect, we can also manage it for you to be an MDR. We have a 24/7 team of US-based security analysts that can stand behind it. So you can write a playbook and dictate how they will react and how they will alert you should an indicator of compromise be triggered. And we have a tool we call Configuration Manager. This is one of the enhancements that It's instant OS hardening. Basically, it's some of our solution engineers call this GPO and steroids. There's about 55 or so Windows security policies that you can deploy without the need for GPO that instantly harden your environment. And it doesn't even need to be domain connected for this to work and for you to deploy and enforce these. Finally, ThreatLocker community. It's a way to leverage the expertise of the cybersecurity community as well as our team. You can there's a bunch of pre-made policies that we can download essentially and apply to any of the modules there. Now, I know this is a high-level view of how ThreatLocker works, but the best way to understand and get a feel for its fit in your stack is to do a live demo. I'll be putting up a slide that will allow you to get one schedule. So that will be with me and a solutions engineer. But before we jump into that, I want to talk about something special to me, Zero Trust World. That is our annual cybersecurity learning event. Super cool. We're going to have a ton of speakers in the cybersecurity space. We've got the ex-COO of Nintendo as our keynote. We also have the ThreatLocker CEO, Chief Product Officer, Dr. Zero Trust himself, Dr. Chase Cunningham. So plenty of opportunity for your team to learn with interactive hacking demonstrations and also meet ThreatLocker partners. So on this slide, you can register, but I also have a coupon code down there for $200 off the registration. Note that this is in our hometown of Orlando, Florida. It's going to be in the 19th to the 21st. You can scan that for some more information. And finally, if you'd like to book a demo with me and a solutions engineer to see how it works in your environment, there you go. Look forward to seeing you guys on a demo.
Awesome. Great job, Jason. And I'm going to be down in Orlando at Zero Trust World on February 19th through the 21st. I'm very excited to be down there. One of the things I will be doing some podcasting down there, but one of the things that really has captured my attention is your hacking lab, which is pretty cool. And so looking forward to that. So still time to register and looking forward to see members of our audience down there. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next stop here. So what we've got going on now is Taylon's going to throw a poll out there. And this poll is going to ask who of our three presenters you'd like to hear from. And so go ahead and complete that. We'll make sure we share that information with each of these organizations. This next segment is our demo rooms. So what's going to happen is we will open up our demo rooms and you'll be able to jump in. You'll be able to bounce around to each of the demo rooms, ask questions, see whatever there might, any additional information that you might want to see from our presenters. But again, most importantly, it's an opportunity for you to ask those questions that you have. In the last thing, again, $250 cash. Did I mention that? I'm pretty sure I mentioned that, right? So we have $250 cash. At the end of the demo rooms, we will go ahead and give away to one lucky attendee $250 cash. Now, to get into the demo rooms, at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see a button that says Breakout Rooms. We will go ahead and open those up here in just a moment. You'll go ahead and click on the Breakout Rooms, and you will be added to whichever breakout room that you go to. And again, if you start over maybe at EasyDMARC and then you learn what you want to learn from Mike and you want to jump over to see Brian with Kaseya, and then you can move over to Jason with ThreatLocker. So feel free to bounce around from that perspective. We'll go ahead and close the poll right now, open up our demo rooms, and with that being said, if you have any questions on how to get into one of the demo rooms, again, click the breakout button right at the bottom. You'll be able to jump into whatever room that you'd like. But if you do have a question on how to get into there, go ahead and just send a message in chat. For those out watching us on YouTube, we're going to go ahead and end our session for right now. all the more reason to join us live next month, so that you can participate live within the groups. With that being said, for everybody out on YouTube world watching us, thank you for your time, and we appreciate you being here.